Do not, under any circumstance, sell the following 5 players in Dynasty football this offseason. You can call this a buy low if you want, but you need to hold these players. The point is, they need to be on your Dynasty rosters. The first name that we're going to talk about. Last year when we did our trade series, I brought you guys Rachaad White as a name that you should be buying for. That wasn't because I was obsessed with Rachaad White the player. It's because I liked him and he was stepping into potentially a big workload. So the question is today, who is the next Rachaad White in 2024? I may have found him for you. That is potentially Taj Spears with the Tennessee Titans. Now, community rankings are kind of all over the place. And on Flock Fantasy, he's the RB22 with your community rankings. On Keep Trade Cut, he's the RB14, which is a little high. And then for me, he's currently my RB16 at this point with free agency and draft. We will get more clarity on that. But keep in mind, Derrick Henry, the king himself, will most likely no longer be around. He's going to be a free agent in 2024. After the Titans' last home game, he took the mic. He went to center of field and spoke to the stadium and said, thank you for all these years. It was a great run. That to me says he's probably moving on. Not to mention there'll be a new head coach. They'll probably clear out the entire staff. That means Tajay is likely stepping into big opportunities like Rachaad White. And he put up a really solid rookie season. There is reason to believe that his best football for fantasy is ahead of him in his rookie campaign. Tajay averaged 4.5 yards per attempt. That was tied for 17th best in the NFL. Better than Derrick Henry, higher than Jonathan Taylor. His yards after contact per attempt, again, tied for 17th in the NFL, 3.15. A higher yards after contact per attempt than Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Isaiah Pacheco. His breakaway percentage was at 30.3%, 11th best in the NFL. He had the 9th most targets, which is in PPR leagues, where we like to see our value coming from. He had 67 targets. He had the 9th best receiving grade amongst running backs, and he had the 4th best elusive rating according to PFF at 109.8. This is all with a minimum of 50 attempts for running backs. All that behind a Titans offensive line that struggled all year. They were bottom half of the NFL for most of the year. They finished with a 60.2 PFF run grade. They were not very good. They loved using Taj Spears as a complement to Derrick Henry in the air. Now, they could be in a situation in 2024 where they are forced to use him on the ground as a more all-around back. And the good news for Tajay owners is that this 2024 running back class for these rookies that are upcoming is very, very weak. I can confidently say that this is the weakest running back class in the past 5 years of my scouting. I currently do not project a single running back to be selected in the first round of Dynasty Superflex rookie drafts. Maybe even in one quarterback. It depends on what draft capital these guys get. And don't get me wrong, I love Trey Benson. He's been my RB1 since we started the process. I love Jonathan Brooks, who unfortunately tore his ACL in 2023. However, there is absolutely no Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devon Achane, Breece Hall, Ken Walker, Travis Etienne type of prospect in this class. That helps a guy like Taj Spears, who's potentially stepping into a larger workload. And he showed flashes in his rookie season. I keep mentioning Rachaad White. Why don't we compare their rookie seasons? Rookie seasons between Rachaad White and Taj Spears, you'll see this. Rushing attempts, very similar. Rachaad White had 29 more. Rushing yards, very similar. Rachaad White, despite having 29 more rushing attempts, was not that far off. 481 to 453 yards per attempt. Taj Spears was way more efficient. Targets, Tajay had 70 compared to 58 for Rachaad. Receiving yards, almost 100 more for Taj Spears. And if you look at their draft capital, both were third-round picks, but Tajay was actually selected a little bit earlier than Rachaad White in the 3rd round. So last year, we told you to buy Rachaad White. At least I did on this channel. That panned out really well for a lot of you guys. He was so cheap. It was like a early to mid 2nd round pick. Now, last year, we also told you to buy Trey McBride. We said play the long game. McBride's a good prospect. It could pan out. The next name I'm going to talk to you guys about is a tight end. Now, he might not have McBride's upside, but he is completely free in a lot of leagues. I've been picking him up in every league he's available for free. And again, while he's unlikely to be as good as Trey McBride, he is free. That is Brevin Jordan with the Houston Texans. In the community right now, he's ranging from somewhere tight end 28 to tight end 30. He's my tight end 21. If you have this guy, do not sell him. Hold on to him. There was a real debate for us between who was the tight end 2 in the 2021 NFL draft, between Pat Freiermuth and between Brevin Jordan. Pat went in the early second of the NFL draft. Brevin ended up going in the 5th round as a 9th drafted tight end. So the NFL made it clear to us that this was a project player and made it easy to pick Pat at the time. But Brevin Jordan, the prospect, we really enjoyed watching his film out of Miami. I thought he would test much better. He kind of has that hybrid tight end wide receiver type of profile. I thought he was a pretty good athlete, but he did not test well. You can see his RAS score here at a 4.51. Now, to be fair, 10-yard, 20-yard, 40-yard split and dash, all those he tested pretty well at. It's just he did not test well with his size or with his shuttle and 3-cone. But there are some promising comps on RAS's websites. Jordan Reed, right, who had a great career with Washington. Trey McBride, who is starting to take off in Arizona. Those are some comps over on their website. And the most important part of this take, why you don't want to sell him, is because Dalton Schultz is a free agent in 2024. Of course, they could bring him back on a cheap deal in free agency. That would ruin this take. I agree. However, similar to the running back class, the tight end class is not very deep this year. You've got some stars at the top in Brock Bowers and Jatavion Sanders, but outside of those guys, I like Jaheim Bell, but there's not really the kind of depth that 2023's draft class had. This is not the same class as far as depth goes at all. So, Brevin Jordan's stats are not impressive. He's only shown flashes, but would this be the first time that it took a tight end a couple years to really get into the zone in the NFL? AutoZone, get in the zone. What am I doing? But we've got a young, talented player attached to CJ Stroud that you can add for free. Hold him and see what happens. All right, the next player we're going to talk about that you do not trade. A lot of trades for this guy are going to be happening around your leagues. Do not move this player, I'm telling you. Drake London, Drizzy Drake, do not move him. In the community, he's wide receiver 20 to 24, somewhere around there. I have him as my wide receiver 22, but he's in the tier where he's wide receiver 17 to 22, somewhere in between there. But here's what Drake London has done in his first 2 seasons. Not that impressive, is it, guys? All right, in his first 2 years, he hasn't had 1,000 yards in a single season, hasn't had over 4 touchdowns in a single season. Not impressive. However, some context can help us understand why this talented player's production has been so limited thus far. We're going to look at 3 aspects, 3 crucial pieces of context. Number 1, the offense that he's been a part of. In 2022, so his rookie year, the Falcons were 31st out of 32 teams in passing attempts per game. Last year, in 2023, they were 25th. So this team has been well at the bottom of the league in passing attempts per game since he joined the team. Now, what about his quarterback play? Because Brock Purdy doesn't throw the ball much, but he's very efficient. How about the quarterback play for Drake London so far? Well, as a rookie, he had Marcus Mariota throwing him the ball. Marcus Mariota in 2022, here's where he ranked. Again, keeping in mind that there are 32 NFL franchises. Marcus Mariota in 2022 ranked 48th in completion percentage according to PFF, 61%. His adjusted completion percentage, which is the percentage of aimed passes thrown on target, he was 63rd. So even when you look at the ones that are on target, he was lower, 63rd. His yards per attempt were 21st. His big time throw percentage was 46th. His passing grade, according to PFF, was 43rd. And his NFL passing rating was 33rd amongst, again, 32 teams in the NFL. In 2023, it was Desmond Ritter's turn for Drake London's sophomore year. That year, last year, Desmond Ridder was 40th in completion percentage, 46th in adjusted completion percentage, 21st in yards per attempt, 42nd in big time throws. He had the 60th PFF passing grade. I can't explain how bad that is. And his NFL passer rating was 44th. So again, 2 of those factors, the offense, the quarterback. The third factor was the head coach. Arthur Smith has held back his weapons a lot. Arthur Smith drafted 3 premier receiving weapons in the first round in 3 years in a row, only to never feature those guys. Kyle Pitts, he drafted 4th overall in the first. Drake London the year after, 8th overall in the first. Bijan Robinson the year after, 8th overall in the first again. Arthur Smith spent more time in post-game interviews arguing with reporters as to why he wasn't featuring these weapons than he did scheming up ways to actually use these superstar weapons. Simply put, there has never been a single moment where this team has focused on their passing attack, and Drake London has suffered greatly because of it. There were just 2 games in 2023 where London had over 10 targets, and this is what he did. In those 2 games, he averaged 9.5 receptions and 149 receiving yards. Might be a good idea to throw this guy the damn ball because he does good things when you do. New head coach in 2024, top 10 draft pick and a good quarterback class. Rumors of Kirk Cousins? Probably not, but there's rumors. Regardless, change is on the way, and Drake London is going to benefit. Do not sell him this offseason. All right, another guy that you do not want to sell, you do want him on your team, KeAndre Miller. He's my RB20. In the community, he's somewhere around RB28 to 30. I'll be the first to say that I was surprised by KeAndre's lack of involvement this year. I did not think that Alvin Kamara would be used so heavily on the ground in particular. And to be fair, he shouldn't have been used that much on the ground anyway. In 2023, Alvin Kamara was truly awful efficiency-wise as a rusher. In 2023, he ranked 69th in yards per attempt, 80th in yards after contact per attempt, 54th in missed tackles forced per attempt. He had the 77th best breakaway percentage. He did not have those big plays very often. He was the 88th graded elusive rating and the 35th graded PFF run grade. Don't get me wrong. Alvin Kamara was great for fantasy this year. That had nothing to do with his efficiency on the ground. He was really a hindrance to this team as a rusher. He was only successful because Dennis Allen decided to give him 13 targets a game is what it felt like as a check down option. And Derek Carr was like, you know what? I love that idea. Let's run with it, coach. But what did KeAndre Miller do when he was used? All right, there were 2 games in 2023 where KeAndre played at least 35% of the snaps and saw at least 14 touches. Those 2 games, week 5 versus New England, week 18 versus Atlanta. In those 2 games, he averaged 13.95 PPR points per game, almost 14 points per game, including week 18 versus a tough Atlanta rushing defense where he put up 73 yards, 5.6 yards per attempt, and a rushing touchdown. If this team moves on from Alvin, which at the moment his contract is ridiculous, but if they move on from Alvin, even if they don't, what could KeAndre Miller do with 40, 50, 60% of this offense? Don't forget why we love this player anyway. He put up ridiculous numbers at TCU, led them to a national college football championship game. Big body, good pass catcher, can handle the rock. Day 2 pick, was just 20 years old when he was drafted. He is still 2 years younger than Blake Corum and Marshawn Lloyd, guys who will enter the draft this year. Talented player, just waiting in the wings for opportunity. Do not sell KeAndre Miller this offseason. You want that guy on your taxi squad, sitting on your bench, waiting to see what can happen. All right, the 5th player that you do not want to sell, that is Demario Pop Douglas. Now, Pop had an up and down rookie year, but to be fair, there were very little expectations, if any, of him as a rookie. And Pop Douglas, this is going to sound crazy, he led the Patriots in receiving this year, despite missing 3 games. He still led them on a 14-game season. He had 142 more yards than the next highest producer and 14 more targets than the next highest targeted player. Pop Douglas, despite missing 3 games, accounted for 16.5% of his team's receiving offense. That's crazy, receiving yards. And the good news for him is this team is bound to get a new quarterback in the NFL draft. They hold the 3rd overall pick. Will they trade up for Caleb Williams? Will they stick and pick? Will Drake May be there? Will it be Jaden Daniels? Who knows? Do they get Michael Penix Jr. in the 2nd round? The point is they are going to get a upgrade at the quarterback position, new head coach, new quarterback, and the quarterback is going to need Pop Douglas, whoever it is. You know, they could draft a wide receiver on day 2 of the NFL draft. They could sign someone in free agency. But the point is, this wide receiver room is so weak. Even if they sign a big name, Pop Douglas is going to be 100% necessary as a receiving threat in this offense. So those are 5 players that you do not want to sell this offseason. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I have to quickly let you in on some exciting news. Our 2024 rookie report is officially released over on the Flock Fantasy website. You can see an example here of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s profile. Hey, if you want to dive deep into the 2024 class, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, you want to learn about their attributes, pro comps, strengths, weaknesses. If you want to get updated after the combine, all that is in our rookie report and more. There's already version 1 on the website. If you want access to it, use our promo code LAND when signing up. Make sure you're a Mother Flocker member. And once you use our promo code, you get 30% off and you'll be able to instantly access that rookie report, which we're super proud of. Version 2 is coming out February 1st with a whole bunch of new updates. And I want to let you guys know that if you become a Mother Flocker member with our code LAND, not only do you get the rookie report, you get our rankings, which is 1 quarterback, which is super flex. You get a Dynasty team review on a live stream from us where we break down your team and give you advice. You get access to our Dynasty trade show where we'll look at your trades weekly on a video. You get access to the fantasy hotline, which is a direct DM to us for advice. The amount that you get in return is actually insanity. It's a great value and you're going to support the channel. So thanks for watching. Drop a like. We'll see you in the next video. All up. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy. Even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.